Hello. Thank you very much for introducing me, and thanks everybody for joining us today. This is a presentation which is about the integrity and security of laboratory data to comply with FDA and international regulations, such as 21 CFR Part 11 or European PICS GMP Annex 11, so I will mention both. And this presentation should give you a good understanding of the FDA and international requirements, and I will give recommendations and also I will show you tools to implement those requirements. So this shows an overview of the presentation. I will start to talk about the importance and definition of the data integrity, and I will also emphasize the importance of data integrity to ensure product quality and safety of consumers of the medicines. I will then go step by step through key FDA requirements and give recommendations for implementation. They include limited and authorized access to systems, to data, and to operational functions, for example, but many more. And FDA has also put a lot of emphasis on complete records, so I will talk about them, what they are, including raw data and electronic audit trail and its review. They play a major role to defend data integrity, so I will spend quite some time here. And next I will talk very briefly back up, and because this is not mainly a compliance concern, this is also a business concern, so I assume that you're already familiar with this requirement. Then I will talk about validation of security and integrity related functions. And finally, I will go through a typical FDA inspection. I will talk about the findings, typical findings in laboratory. And I will finish my presentation going through case studies and also tell you on how to respond to 483s and warning letters after we have probably not managed not to get anything anymore related to 483 and warning letters. At least we should have a good follow-up to minimize the further damaging here. FDA gave different definitions of data integrity. For example, FDA's Glossary defined data integrity as very simple, the degree to which a collection of data is complete, consistent, and accurate. Then by time this was a more detailed, expanded. So, for example, more detailed was a guide on using computers for clinical trials, and this came out in 1999. The guide used the term the first time ALCOA, an abbreviation that has been used by FDA staff members and other speakers in conference presentations. I will go quickly through what they mean. Attributable should answer the question, who has acquired the data and when, and also which instrument has been used to acquire the data. Then we have legible, is related to using, for example, when we have paper. When we talk about paper records, handwriting should be readable. We should be use durable ink and not pencil, for example, which can be erased easily. Then the next one was FDA was committed to focus more on data integrity. I mean, this is very, very important. Here's the second point, and also the FDA agency committed to follow up on leads or information regarding data manipulation and fraud, because in some situations they did go to a site, did not find anything in an inspection. Later on, they got a phone call from an employee, and they were told they better come back because they did overlook something. So they did go to an instrument where they did find severe data manipulation. From that time on, they really did take those leads very seriously. He also gave recommendations to the industry on what to do, training on data handling and reporting, to be more specific on how to handle electronic records in line with Part 11, in the spirit of Part 11, in the spirit of GMP, assure that the reliability of data reported in all applications and manufacturing the records, of course, and emphasize that everyone in the company is responsible for data integrity. I mean, I heard similar things when ISO 9000 was introduced to companies. I mean, the focus was on quality there, and the term was also emphasized that everyone in the company is responsible for quality. This is a list of required records as defined in 21 CFR Part 11, FDA's regulation on GMP regulation and finished products. In Chapter 194, and I mean it has several subsections here. I don't want to read this for you. I just would like to recommend when you, before an inspection, I mean you better make sure, that when an inspector asks for any of those required records of an analytical test results, they must be available in a reasonable time frame, either in paper or in electronic form. Most likely, depending on what it is, in electronic form, especially for chromatographic systems, as I will tell you in a minute. Otherwise, I mean, I don't want to go through. You may know what types of records. Interesting here, calculations, A5, comparison of test results. Okay, that's also important. And standards, signatures of the test person. I think you almost I could show you warning letters examples here. To all the subsections, so probably there are warning letters. The signature of the test person was not there, and there was a signature of the supervisor, and the inspector said no, the supervisor is not an adequate representation of when it comes to the point to make a signature. First of all, I would like to guide you through an FDA inspection, especially which type of documentation inspectors want to see. And I have here the type of documentation, org charts, management responsibilities, SOPs are important. They will ask for SOPs during when they come in. They typically sit in an office, look at the documentation, and here they also may not only ask for management responsibilities but also for SOPs related to limited access, data integrity, audit trail, record retention. Then they will check if authorized access has been validated. They want to see the validation record still sitting in an office. They ask test results from previous batch. Okay, maybe if this was 1 to 2 years ago, check if the records have been reviewed and signed by 2 people. Check if records are complete. Okay, they can check. Use 211.194, which I showed you before as a checklist. Check how raw data are defined, paper or electronic records. Check if copies are exact and true copies. Check if audit trail has been reviewed and they would like to see the documentation.